right, we are here with the crew. I have Cheska here, and I have Derek here with us. And topics that we're going to actually start out with today is going to be, what is a pygmy? What is a pygmy? So let's start there. So honestly, I'm going to say that, and Cheska, I actually want you to actually lead that part, and then I'm going to tell you how I feel about that.
I was waiting for this, right?
I know you was. That's why I want you to lead.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Are we talking about men and women pick me, or or just a woman?
If there's a male pick me, I definitely ain't heard of that one.
I ain't never seen it before.
Yes.
I ain't never heard no male pick me. I thought that would just be a simp.
Oh, no. Okay, honestly, Cheska might be right about that because there is guys out there that will try to coddle women just so they can get, you know what I'm saying? If that's what that definition is, right? If that's what that definition is, of course, you know.
Yeah. All right. So a woman pick me is probably the most thirsty of them all because it's like they have to tear down other women to elevate themselves. So it's just like, I cook, I clean, I did. What, like, what are you doing wrong? Like, I do this for my man, blah, 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 blah. Half the time, they're not even picked. Like, they're single. They're not even in a relationship. But it's just like, they have to tear down other women having like a holier than thou attitude to where they're the ones that's just like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I do this, I do that, and basically shaming other women. So they literally have to like, it's like, okay, picture like a mountain, right? And like there's like people around, there's other women around, and they're just like, bleh, bleh. And then like it's like some sort of insecurity that they have within themselves that they have to like claw down other women to elevate themselves. And that's what pisses me off. That's what a woman is like. Now, a man, touched on it earlier, PK and Derek. A man, I'll give an example, not to start anything, but Derek Jackson, we all know what happened.
So Derek Jackson would be the pick me?
Okay, well, if that's the definition, yes.
Yes, he's like, he's a holier. It's scary about pick me men. Okay, maybe it's called simps, but like
that's what I look at them like, simps.
Well, they make themselves the picture perfect man, and they basically do the same thing that women do, which is tear down other men. Like, this is what you need to know. And it's just like, all right, it sounds good because people like the cake, they like the surface, but like, how are they in the inside? And this is why I cannot stand pick me's. I cannot stand it. And guys, I feel like you guys don't understand what a pick me really is. So now I'm curious.
Okay. So this is my problem with the whole quote unquote pick me thing. And, you see it anywhere, whether you're on YouTube watching some stuff or whether you're on social media seeing it. And when you see these certain things on social media and all of that, it could be a woman that may go against what the popular opinion is when it comes to actual women is and how they move or how they do this or how they do that. And maybe she's one of the few women that doesn't agree. And as soon as she doesn't agree, what I usually see is women attacking her and calling her a pick-me because she doesn't agree with the popular opinion. That's what I'm used to seeing. And to me, that makes no sense at all. Go ahead.
I was gonna say online. I was gonna say I think it's easier for it to appear that way because if like even if I be real, when am I ever around women? And if I am around women, they're married. So I could imagine a guy going out to a bar somewhere, and let's just say there's a group of 6 girls. I could imagine in a real life scenario, a woman will see a different version of that than what's online. Like what we see online, I think it's like fairy tale versus like what it sounds like to me. Cheska's experienced it in a real setting. And I think that's probably the difference in like the online aspect of it. When you actually are with 6 or 7 girls and then the girl starts behaving like that in front of guys versus like online, it's a girl that just might be like, yeah, housewives. Well, housewives aren't valued that high anymore. So maybe 6 of those girls go, oh, she's a pygmy. She's just trying to be a pygmy. And that could be the case. It can't be the case. But I think online we all see the same thing. But I think if you play that same scenario out at a bar like how we used to go out back in the day, and we went out, I think we will see a different version of what that pick me would look like if a woman truly was trying to get
Okay.
selected
I,
in that
and see,
particular
I see what you
scenario.
mean by that. But my whole thing is we're in 2023 now. So I'm not saying that, I'm saying this thing doesn't happen in real time in the real world, outside of the matrix, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is that the internet, social media, for whatever reason, controls whatever controls the narrative. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, whether it's what's going on today, whether it's what new terminology, what new slang, what new this, what new that. Social media controls the narrative. So I'm speaking from that actually, because I've never even heard of a pick me until I saw it on social media. I ain't never heard nobody.
But
I've
that's what
never
I'm
heard
saying.
anybody say anything or pick me this or pick me that in traffic. I'm outside or something. I ain't never heard that.
Really?
Never.
Nah, but that's what I was going with is I think online is also now a
Right.
real place. I think a lot of stuff we see on here is for show, it's for clicks, it's for likes. I don't even you know how I am. I think most people when they talk, I believe most people are just liars. So if I hear a woman like, "Oh, I cook, I clean," my first thought would be, "She probably
Ah.
lying."
Wait.
My first thought would be, "She probably lying."
Okay. PK. Okay, sorry. I have a question. Okay, so you said you see like if you from your view it's someone that has an unpopular opinion. So what is an example of that? Like
Okay. Okay. So, for instance, what it I'm not gonna say all women. You know what I'm saying? I got, like I said, I try. I'm trying to get better in my verbiage
mm-hmm.
to keep the all police off my ass.
Uh-huh, sure you are.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better. But the point of the matter is, quite a few women or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, um, have like this entitlement thing. They have an entitlement complex. You know what I mean? Like they should have this, or things should be like this because they're a woman or else or whatnot. I feel like, when I see a woman make a post, and here's the reality: whether she's lying or not, neither one of us know her. You know what I'm saying? We don't know her, whether she's lying or not, or whether she's telling the truth or not. The point I'm making is they tend to come off at least more humble. And what I also say is, you're right. I mean, in a lot of cases, I guess if that's what they call pick me women or whatever it is, perhaps a lot of them are probably still single. But from what I've also seen, is those particular women who go against the popular opinion, the women who are on the side of the popular opinion are also single. And I know a lot of those particular women have this, have this sort of thing about themselves. It's like this woman empowerment, uh, feminism movement, whatever the fuck it is, whatever the fuck you want to call it, thing going on. And the thing about it is, the women who are more humble and the women who understand more tend to be the women who get married and that are not single.
Okay,
I'm
but
just saying.
would you say that pick me women
Uh-huh.
are getting married more often than just like I don't know.
I would say that a cooperative woman is going to get picked more than a non-cooperative
So
woman.
wait, what is cooperative?
I,
No,
I, I would say
hold on, Derek. No. Hold on. What is a co-op? What does that mean? Like I need.
Anytime I say this to a woman, Why is it a like? Why is it? As soon as you say like, because first of all, I changed my verbiage on that because I used to say submissive. I no longer even say submissive. I said, you know
But
what?
you
I
said,
think cooperative sounds better than being submissive, right? But you say that,
It's the
no,
same.
but
Don't matter.
that's how they
It
gonna
don't
look at it.
matter.
it's
It's
the
the
same, but
same.
Cooperate. But here's the
It's the
cooperative
reality.
same.
sounds, no, it sounds like you talk about a dog. Like
No,
cooperative,
this is
like,
not.
no, no, no.
No.
It's
Okay.
my
Shouldn't I be
well,
cooperative with you? If we're gonna coexist, shouldn't we be cooperative with each other? Yes
yes,
or
but
no?
I don't know, just the way I don't have a problem with
No, you
submissive.
just taking it how you want to take it.
Okay, but
That's what you're doing.
what is a cooperative woman? Like, what is that? Now you
Well,
keep saying things that I need more clarification on.
okay, you need more. Okay, you need more. Okay, I get more
Yeah.
context for that. Got it. All right. So my thing is, when I think of a cooperative woman, I think of a woman who understands. I know this ain't the 1950s anymore. Trust me, I got it. But a woman, not to get off subject, I'm still on subject, but I'm kind of not, but I am. So most women want men to do what men of the previous years used to do. You know, they want a provider, they want a hardworking man, a provider.
Right.
You know, this type of gentleman. You know, stand up guy, takes care of the family, et cetera, et cetera. Right. But the problem is, women want more traditional men when they're more modern day women. So with that actually being said, to get to what I was just on is that for me, a cooperative woman is a woman that has traditional values, but still a strong woman. Of course, still going to have her opinion about certain things. Cooperative to me is a woman that gives me traditional vibes. Yeah, that's what I would say a cooperative woman would.
Okay.
I would say I don't necessarily. I wouldn't connect the dots that way. I would say a cooperative woman is not
Okay,
argumentative.
yeah, no, yeah. That to me, that's
So
traditional.
so
That's traditional.
so well, yeah, but I'm saying like I get like an example would be so for the world that's listening, I'm going on 17 years, and one of the big things in marriage is fighting. You have to learn how to not fight. It's a skill. It is actually something that you have to develop. It's not something that you're just gonna get. You actually have to know how to not fight because there's 100 million reasons to have a fight. It don't matter if it's I want you to get in bed, at 10 o'clock because I'm getting in bed at 10 o'clock. But if you date someone that doesn't go to bed till 1 a.m. every day, they're not going to want to go to sleep just because you said, "Well, let's lay down." It could be the most simplest, basic stuff in the marriage that can cause a fight. But the problem is when two people are dating, their boyfriend and girlfriend, they're just fighting like a married couple would fight. The only difference is they haven't made a commitment to each other. So now she's like, well, in this era, it would seem like a modern woman would find out that this guy's views don't necessarily fit the way she is. So yeah, it could be something that she could be a career woman. There are guys out there that'll probably give her a hard time for that. Me personally, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, whatever. But for some guys, they might see that as a downside. Okay, well, there are guys that probably would accept a career driven woman. But at the same time, that woman got to understand there are a bunch of guys that aren't going to accept that. So the cooperation to her in that moment is to say, you know what? Maybe me and this guy just don't align in that way. But because she probably likes him, because he's handsome, he's tall, he probably has all the other things she likes. Most women, I think, believe that maybe if I stick around long enough, maybe if my value is shown, he'll change. And I tell all women, guys don't change ever. So my number one rule to any woman is don't ever try to change it. If he says, "I don't want you, I want you to be a stay-at-home wife," that's his real answer. So you can't be a career woman and then the guy tells you up front, "I want a stay-at-home wife," and then try to change him. So the argument side to me, you start to see that from women once they realize the guy isn't necessary. Like I might like him a lot, but he ain't really what I per se thought he was because now he's showing me that he believes that men shouldn't pay for dates. Now I start hearing a bunch of stuff, and then that's when women start to challenge those narratives that that guy's putting out because I think they're upset for some reason that you're realizing at that moment in time it's probably not going to work out. Y'all probably don't agree. Y'all probably don't see things the same. And then at that point, it's just arguments because now everything he says it doesn't agree with her, and it's just this the whole rest of the time. And to that guy, he gonna be like, I ain't got time to be defending why I feel like you should stay at home. I ain't got time to be defending why I feel like you should be cooking for me. I work, I make money, I do this, I do that. I want my woman in the kitchen. If that's not you, then bye. But then there's another dude that's perfectly fine with staying at home and cooking and doing laundry and whatever. So that's to me where the argumentative side comes in. It's the disagreement in the views, and then the woman keeps challenging the guy's views, and the guy's like, "Bruh, you not finna keep challenging me. You know, I said cook, so get in there and cook. And if that ain't good enough for you, then go find a guy that you know, because I'm definitely gonna find a woman that's gonna do what I'm asking her to do." And that's to me where argumentative
Okay.
is coming from.
I'm gonna hit you with this. Here's what the problem is these days. I heard traditional values in the modern day. There's a lot of men these days that want traditional values, but they're not providing anything. Like for
I agree with
example,
you.
I honestly, I don't want to work. I don't mind not work. I could work on my passion. I could do other stuff, but I don't need to work a 9 to 5. And if I'm with someone that could provide that to where I don't have to do that, I'm not doing it. So asking for somebody to like cook and clean, all right, that's fine to be like a housewife per se. I don't look down on that, but at the same time, like these men that are asking for that aren't able to provide that. So you're going to demand all this. You're going to demand A, B, C, D, E, but you're not able to provide that space for her. So it's a contradiction. Like you really expect a woman to do all this when she's working 40, 50, 60 plus hours, you're working this. No, you got to be up here to where she's not having to go to work and do all this other stuff because like it doesn't make sense. And there's a lot of, I know there's entitled women, but there's a lot of entitled men that say, yeah, like I want you to do this and that. But all right, so do you have the means? Do you have the lifestyle? Are you able to do that? Because I feel like men that demand that don't have it or they're not willing to do it. And then there's the caveat of like, well, she's not my wife, blah, blah, blah. All right. So when you lead up to that point, are you able to provide so she doesn't have to do that? Maybe she wants to. Maybe she's like, okay, I'm fine with, doing this and that, cooking and cleaning, providing the meal when you get home. But I ain't doing that if I'm working 50, 60 hours. Like, I'm sorry, like for the
Well, see,
editing.
no, you're fine. No, and see, the thing with that is that to me that's common sense though. So, for instance, if a woman is is putting in as much work as you, why the hell would you expect her to? You know what I'm saying? Why the hell would you expect her to come home,
Well, you're
come
not watching the
home,
rice.
do this and do that or whatnot? Like to me, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now, as far as what I'm saying, the two or whatnot, the two decide, what's what. So if a man is coming out and having an entitlement complex, I'll be like, oh, okay, I want my wife or I want my woman to be a housewife or whatever the case may be. Then of course if he couldn't provide that, then he would just be being delusional at that point. So yeah, I mean, so that's I mean right there, that's common sense right there. But I'm referring to a person who says what they says and backs up what they say.
Okay. No,
You
I
feel
get
what I'm
it.
saying? So yeah, so of course, see,
But
that doesn't make sense. That wouldn't make sense.
and, and even in that case, I agree with you a
Yeah.
100%. But and I have these all the time. You know, the conversation that we're having now. I have these talks all the time with PJ all the time, and I'm in dead in the middle. There's not. I'm not leaning one way or the other. I'm just saying, if you break it down, I don't think these guys are any better than the women in
The
that way.
pick
So
the pick
I feel like it's a bunch of delusion,
you talking about the pick me
huh?
guys or like the
The pick me guys, pick me woman, modern men, modern women. I feel like everybody's on the exact same playing field, and I feel like there are battles that are just nitpicky stuff because I wasn't bringing up the housewife thing. I was bringing that up as an extreme because most guys can't, afford to have a wife at home. But if you go into these communities and you listen to the internet, that's what you're gonna hear. A traditional woman should be able to stay at home and blah 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 blah. But at the same time, I don't personally feel like you have to be a stay-at-home wife or you have to not. I feel like when you actually, I think what people miss, and this is why I get sick of these conversations, is that it's a bunch of people talking about how to make it work together who have never actually
right.
done it.
Preach.
So if a person's been single for 30 years and then arguing, usually they're going to argue about what they're going through. And then, so if I listen to a woman who's 32 and single, and then I listen to a guy who's 32 and single, they're not really complaining about every single thing. They're complaining about specifically what they're going through. So if a girl has only dated certain type of guys, she's going to complain about that. Even though there's a gang of other dudes over here that don't meet
Right.
that description, it
Right.
don't matter. Same thing, vice versa for
Right.
the girls, the women. There's a bunch of women over here that don't match that description because, and we have to talk all the time. Looks come into play, the way a person dresses, there's so many other factors that play into why people don't select people. So being a pick me, I think it probably helps you if you're really pretty, and guys find you attractive, then that probably makes being a pick me easier. But if you're a pick me and you're 300 pounds and you're 5'2", that's gonna make me and a pick me probably a little difficult. So there are things I just think people just won't accept, and that's the problem I have with this whole era of social media is you just don't accept certain things. If you are 300 pounds, and we just ask a simple question, if being 140 would get you more attention, yes or no? I don't care about your feelings or none of that. Would that make dating easier for you? Would that open up your options, yes or no? And the answer we all know is yes, it would. But in this era, the 300-pound girl is not going to go lose weight. She's going to force guys to say, accept me at 300 pounds.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So the problem isn't, and there are guys that would accept her at 300 pounds, but she probably don't want them. That's the problem. So the problem is to me acceptance. If you are going to set some rules for yourself, which is you should accept me for 300 pounds, then you should accept the fact there's only a handful of guys that will do that. And PJ will tell you, I've dated big girls my whole life. I ain't never had no problem. So there are guys out there like me. They're not many, but they exist.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess nah, it's a good. That's definitely a good point there. Like, that's a great point. But as far as as far as wrapping this topic up and all of that, a pick me from Jessica's standpoint is a person or is a woman that is trying to down other women to make herself appear bigger. Is that accurate,
Yeah,
Jessica?
clawing her way. Other men,
Okay.
she's sword. I have a sword. She's stabbing. Ugh. That's what she.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would, if I was to go with it, I wouldn't even trust the internet version that you came up with. I would trust Cheska's version because I believe women are like secretly clawing at each other and stabbing
We
each other in the
do.
back all the time.
We
I
do that from
personally feel,
kindergarten. You're right.
yeah, I personally believe women are secretly at war with each other and they will never openly admit it, but in real life, they will stab you in the back. That's just me from what I've seen.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, and so to our next and
Nice.
final topic of the evening, um, young Miami,
Oh Lord.
Miss City Girl herself. So basically, to give a little backstory, it was an article that was out there that's saying that Miss Young Miami does not want her daughter um, following in her footsteps and living a city girl life.
Hmm.
And I thought it was fucking hilarious. What's your takes on that? And then, of course, I'll give you.
You know Cardi B said the same thing. Cardi B
Wait,
don't let
wait.
her daughter
Let's
listen to her
hold
music.
on.
What? I
Let's
didn't know that.
wait. I went first last. PK, let's
You want me
you
to go first? You want
yes.
me to go first? Okay.
You got first.
All right. Okay. So my thoughts with we talked about this a little bit on my status. What was it? About a week or whatever so ago it was, or less. But I understand that. My thing is, I think it's good that she doesn't want her daughter to, appear like like a 304. You know. So I think that's great. But at the end of the day, your kids pick up habits from you of what it is that they actually see. So my thing is, it's like, I mean, she's getting her money, I guess. You know what I'm saying? She's doing that, but at the end of the day, the fact that you're living it and you don't want your daughter following in those same footsteps, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm not the smartest man in the room, you know, or on the planet, I should say, but I'm just gonna go with it. You don't want your kids following that footstep. Shouldn't there be changes implemented, or should you keep doing the behavior?
I'm, but you don't know what she's doing though. I mean, how old is her daughter, by the way? Do you know?
You know what? I probably should have. You know what? That's my bad. I should have looked that up and researched that before we got started this evening. I don't know how old the daughter is. I'm gonna find out though. Let's keep talking.
Yeah,
Now I'm curious. I'm gonna find that out.
because we don't know what. I'm looking it up now.
You're
Uh,
looking it up. Okay, cool.
we don't know. Oh, she's 3 years old. Okay, so here's the thing. She's not. I mean, she's she's a toddler and she's coming into that age, but she's not yet retaining anything. I mean, I think my first memory, I was about like 5 or 6 or whatever.
Ours was about 5. I know for me it was about 5.
Okay, so I mean, we don't know what changes she's making or what she's doing to be that present mother, to be that mother that to where her daughter doesn't have to go to the same through the same thing. So it's not like you can't, it's not fair to say that because her daughter is still young. She's 3 years old.
Okay.
Uh, and I liken this to because I know on the status just to give context. I compared it to, well, I don't know if you compared it or I compared it, but it was like, it was me. I said, okay, well, that's like, I mean, it's the same as a drug dealer not wanting the same for his son. And PK, you said, well, I quote, and I'm paraphrasing, you said there's nothing wrong with, that there's a difference between, like he's trying to have a better life for his son and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, no, like she wants better for her daughter at the end of the day.
I
And
get that, but okay. But my thing is, what she's actually, I'm saying, who she is and what she represents is documented for sure. Anything somebody else does, I mean, you can look at it both ways. I get what you're saying, but somebody else doing something else or whatever, that's not documented. She's everywhere. She's in Hollywood. She's in the tabloids.
but
She's
it,
this. She's putting out uh,
And
Yeah, it
the
should
music
be.
videos ain't
It's
going
well
nowhere. So the kids
documented.
gonna get
That's
older and
my
see
point.
that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's out there. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know the agenda. These city girls have created city girls. Literally, they out here. These city girls are really out here, citying.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm
they're
saying?
doing it. They're doing it for a purpose. She's basically saying she doesn't want her daughter to have to do the same thing that she's doing. I understand it's documented, but it could be an argument like, you know what, honey, this is what I did in the past. This is what I had to do. And we don't know what, like City Girl, we see the glitz and glamour on it, but we don't know, like, the hard stuff that comes with being a city girl, harassment. There's just so much. It's so nuanced.
But this is what they created, and the fact that this is what they created. Do they come off like respectable women to you?
They're getting their hustle on. Like they're doing what they have to do.
I'm saying, but I didn't ask you that. I said, do they come off like respectable women? Yes or no?
I respect what they are able to do. Does that answer your
You
question?
didn't, no, you still didn't answer, but that's okay though. That is fine. The, the
No,
point,
okay. Because no, seriously. Okay, so this is an extreme example, but stripping, right? I
stripping.
I wouldn't be able to do it, but I respect those that are able to do it. I'm not necessarily able. First of all, I don't. Yeah, like I don't dance like that, and I can't. Like I just can't. But at the same time, you're able to do it. You're able to get your money. Like go sis. Like all right. But I respect what she's able to do. But respectable is objective. I mean I don't. What does that even mean?
You think respectable is subjective?
What does that mean? Like, I
Subjective
mean,
rather? Subjective rather? How?
but I mean, like, what does it mean? Subjective. Like, what is it? Because everyone's version of respectable is different.
It's different.
Well, okay,
Yeah. But that's the
okay,
problem
okay.
though. I mean,
Yeah,
that in itself is exactly the problem.
Why is that?
It's because a lot of, like I said, I'm always in the middle of this. Do I personally care if the city girl wants to make twerk music for the rest of her life? No. But she's not also thinking about the effects that has on that child in that moment because it's no different than the OnlyFans craze, right? A lot of women just rush to OnlyFans. So it's like when you're not thinking about what that will do to that child, it don't matter if it's a boy or a girl, their friends see the videos, this or that. That stuff does have an effect. Like what we do as parents, it does affect our kids, even if we don't want to accept it or acknowledge it. So even if in her household is like maybe she's not seeing that, eventually that child's going to get to 15, 16, 17, 18, 22. That's when all of it's really going to kick in. The pressure, the damage that she created, that child won't feel until teenage and young adult
yeah.
years. So she might be able to get away with hiding this and the child protecting the child, but it's only a matter of time before that city girl lifestyle starts to affect, or in this case, stripper lifestyle, OnlyFans lifestyle. It's only a matter of time before that stuff affects the kids because now that girl's dating a guy that grew up to his mama twerking or her mama twerking, or now she's dating a guy that grew up to a guy that was watching her mama OnlyFans. See, these things start to come out and they have an effect on the kids. And you can't really predict how it will affect them. But if you really, to me, I would say this: if she really didn't want her child to grow with that culture, then she would just stop it. If she don't stop it and she just gonna keep continuing, then it don't really matter.
Yeah.
I personally don't care what she chooses to do, but if she wants that behavior to not get passed down, then she herself would have to stop herself.
Which is probably what she's planning on doing. I mean, I can't say what she's doing now, but I'm assuming. Well, I don't know. I don't know what she's doing, but I know children change you. So I guess I'm hoping. I don't know. She doesn't want her. She's trying to slowly wane from whatever she's doing, so her daughter doesn't have to do what she did.
Yeah, and I would be with that. To me, that'd be good. It's like I honestly, I'm a strong believer in a lot of people, man. You just grow up in some messed up stuff, and what you thought was acceptable at 19, you may not think is acceptable
Right,
at 30.
right. We grow as people. I didn't know Cardi. I mean, yeah. Go
So
ahead.
Cardi is who I heard it first, and that was a few years ago.
I mean, I
Cardi,
can see that. Yeah, but
and
Cardi
Cardi,
is cool about whatever she said.
But Cardi kept it going though.
she's not stopping.
She ain't
She's clearly
stopping.
not stopping.
What do you
Yeah,
mean
she
she
ain't
ain't
stopping.
stopped? She stopped?
Literally, there's a video. You can go look it up online. Like she's on her live. One of her songs comes on. She runs, turns it off just so her daughter don't hear it, or whatever they daughter, whoever it is that she got with Offset. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. And to a lot of people, they think, "Wow, that's crazy." So like a lot of people feel like, "Oh, you'll poison our kids, not your own."
Exactly.
But see, she's about her business. Like it's like not to off topic, but
Yeah.
same on topic. Bill Gates doesn't really his children growing up. He didn't allow them on social media. Like is
But that's what I'm saying. But I look at it all the same, though. I'm not looking at, yeah, like I mentioned, that's all part of what we say is respectable. Some people would just do
That's
anything
my
for
point.
money.
That's where I was about to hit. So it's like, okay,
Some
well, I guess just sell your
and
soul.
some people
Sell your
put
soul.
morals
There
to
you go.
money.
Sell your soul, I guess.
Everybody doesn't put moral and money together. So some people just feel like some jobs are morally not acceptable, and some people feel like it's because to me, I couldn't work at a company, I couldn't own a cigarette company and know what it does to people. But you think these cigarette companies care? They clearly don't.
no, they're making that green. They don't care about that.
Yeah, they making it. They know what they doing. So to me, that's why I don't really get into that aspect. Like once we get into morality, now to me, we start getting into God,
Yeah,
religion, stuff
yeah.
like that. So I don't really necessarily try to touch on that because now you going into a whole nother field. Well, an atheist ain't gonna feel the same way a Muslim gonna feel.
Right. Exactly.
So now we got to kind of put a lens on it. Is the city girl? Is she becoming a Muslim all of a sudden? Is she cutting out pork all of a sudden? Is she all of a sudden becoming spiritual? And she charging her stones outside every day? What is she doing? Is she all of nowhere doing affirmations? Like what's she doing different that she probably wasn't doing in the beginning?
I mean, I feel that. I don't know. It's a slippery slope. I just don't like the hypocrisy of men can do all this, but the minute a woman's like, I want to change my life and want better for my kids, it's just like, oh, but you did this and that. But like, I get the other side is like, are you practicing? Basically, are you practicing what you preach? I get that. So and that's the thing about the internet and social media. Everything is documented. Like, if my mama was twerking.
At the Freak Nick documentary.
I'm saying, but stuff like that wasn't as. I mean, the Freaknik was documented, but I'm saying that was a big thing, but it wasn't usually documented. People didn't have. It was like these big camcorders. Nobody was walking around with that back in the
Right.
day.
But you know what the difference is now? Even when that
Yeah.
Freaknik documentary drops, and I think it ain't coming out till either the end of this year or next year or
Next
something.
year, I'm throwing a party in ATL about it. But yeah, go ahead.
Interesting. Okay. So, so,
Look, there's a lot of aunties. Unfortunately, there's a lot of mamas and
but you know
aunties
what
on
though?
there.
But you know what the
So
difference with
that
them is? They old as shit now. They kids is grown, so they can't affect. They kids already grew up, so
Yeah.
they can't be.
nah, but they gonna get that call like, bruh, I saw your mama on that.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, here's the thing. All right, Cheska, I'm with you. That's the thing about a lot of this stuff. A lot of these arguments. I am with the women on a lot of it. And I know this is why me and PJ get into it a lot of time because I'm with the women in a lot of these arguments. I don't feel like women don't have justifiable reasons for their feelings. That it is a double standard in a lot of ways. There is a flip side to that double standard though. So this is why I bring it back to the acceptance part of it is because I believe at some point we just have to accept that there are things women can get away with that guys can't, and there are things guys can get away with
Yeah.
that women can't. And that's part of the acceptance angle where I go. In some cases it is what it is. A woman being promiscuous is just not viewed the same as a guy being promiscuous. And I don't agree with it. And I bring it up because when we have these conversations, so like for example, Chester, you got any kids? So this is where I always try to find the truth. What would you actually teach your daughter, and what would you teach your son? And I'm bringing it up to give an example. I believe in courting. My son is not going to be allowed to holler at every single girl that walks down the street. I'm not going to root for him and cheer for him like, oh, right. Versus in a lot of cases, most guys, they going to root for their son and they going to lock their daughters up.
That's true.
Now I'm locking them both up. There you go. You try too, buddy. Like, ain't no, there is no, the girl getting the, now y'all both locked up. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these cases is that I think when y'all speak, I think y'all see a lot of stuff that guys get away with and then go, but dang, we can't do it.
That's true.
And I think that's what I think a lot of guys are seeing
this
that.
is what I
Because men will let their sons do things they won't let their daughters do.
You're setting your sons up for success. Because imagine if you're like, holla at every all right. So your son hollers at everybody, every woman. He ends up, it's like perpetuating a cycle. He ends up hollering and impregnating a
there you go. He gonna get a baby mama. That's all he gonna get.
That's not good. And then it's just gonna. But see, people don't think about that.
But my thing is,
sorry, I interrupted you.
no, you're fine. No, you're fine. No, I agree with everything he just said. But what I was gonna say is, why does it seem like, why is it so hard for certain women to say like, oh, okay, if a man does this or if a woman does this, well, why can't a man can get away with if he wants to go out here and sleep with however, God knows how many women. And if we want to go out here and do the same thing, where are the women with the dignity to say, I don't want to do what the fuck he's doing because it's trash? Why, come in? Where's that at? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares?
They liberated. They liberated.
They're liberated.
Shoot.
That's
it. They liberated. That's the answer, right?
I think that's terrible. My thing is, if you don't, okay, so that's like, okay, well, Otis jumped off the damn building. Well, shit, you gonna jump off the building because Otis jumped off the building?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just listen. If that's not who you are, if that's not what you're into, I think people women that only get offended. Like, let's say we're keeping it on the lines of men sleeping around with women or women sleeping around with different men. To me, the only women that get offended by that kind of thing are women who are moving like men out here. So if you're moving like a man out here, then yeah, you will get offended. But if you're not moving out here, like if you're not out here moving like certain men or moving out here, then you wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, well, that ain't how I move. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the point is like, I mean, it's liberation. There's people that are fluid. People are tired of getting shamed for what they do. But there's a caveat to that because there are double standards. Like, I'll give an example. Sexual fluidity. So
sexual who?
Fluidity.
Fluidity. Okay, I never heard that term, but okay, got it.
So I have, my homegirl, my best friend. If I'm like, she comes over and we're playing around and I slap her on the ass, that's not going to be looked at the same as if you PK slap. I'm sorry. You
But
slapped Derek.
my thing is this.
Nah.
I think it should be looked. I think it should be looked at as the same. Because to me, it's all. I don't want to use the word. I can't say it on air. Damn.
What?
Okay. I think it's look. I think it's all terrible because here's the thing.
Why?
I remember there was a time growing up.
Well, no, because Michael Jordan slapped
Man,
a lot of
man,
people
that's a
on the
little too
butt.
fast. Shut up, fool. That ain't the
No,
same
but
thing.
what? But well, I'm curious. Like, why
No,
is it?
stop it, man. Stop it. Like this, bro. Stop it. I still wouldn't do it. But
He did
the
though,
point of the
like
matter is
he did.
that.
He actually smacked
But,
quite a
It's
few
but,
looked at
butts.
differently with men versus women. I can
but
motorboat. I can motorboat one of my home, like, but it wouldn't be that. It's just like, oh, she playing around. Like, no one's taking it.
no, but to me, I remember there was a time growing up because born in the '80s, raised in the '90s. In the '90s, I remember there was a time where there were a lot of women that were strictly, they call it dickly.
They were lying.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you this.
Mm.
I met a lot. I met a lot of women in my lifetime, and I'm talking about women who would get offended if a woman thought about putting their hands on her inappropriately.
Okay,
I'm saying those women, I feel like, are just as good as dead out here. It's like they don't even. It seems like they barely exist these days. And to me, I
because
don't judge. I don't no judgment. I mean, be or do whatever you want to do. But I guess what I'm just sort of saying is that, like me, I'm not a. I'm a heterosexual man. So I'm not going to do anything appropriate to another man. And if a woman is a heterosexual woman, then I don't feel that she should do anything appropriate to another woman. But that's just my opinion.
okay, but that's because she's heterosexual. So there's okay. There's a change in this, right? You're
Okay.
thinking because I admit I was that person. I was like, oh no, but I'm openly bisexual. I don't care, right?
Okay. That's
So
fine.
I was one of those that like, oh yeah, strictly did. But that was a different time. So you have to look at that. Like people,
Because it wasn't as acceptable then. I'm sure,
yes,
right?
but with that, there's women that are fake. Oh yeah, I like women. It's like this is a whole other topic.
All I know is I ain't. I don't think. I don't. My mama probably not. My grandmother probably not. Um,
You don't know that?
my aunties probably.
Yes.
I can. I can. I can. I bet everything on it. I know.
Okay. I mean,
Like
I
no.
mean, if you like
Like
Derek, no, I want to hear Derek's point of view on this.
okay.
I'm just curious.
It, this is where I look at it. Like I said, I be thinking everybody just lying. So I think the difference in this era and 1940 something, I believe the same experiments have always went on. The only difference is they're documented now and it's
Well,
acceptable now. That's personally my opinion on it. And I don't really think like I look at it and I go, okay, does it really matter what Joe over there is doing? Nah, it don't matter. I just think it matters until you start to have a conversation where you're looking at your life and you want a specific result and then you just not getting that result. So yeah, if you smack somebody on the butt, okay, then you just have to understand that everybody's not gonna take that the same way. And then unfortunately in the women's world, women aren't violent naturally. And I don't know if women understand this, but men are extremely violent to other men. Because you online is always, oh man, women, the number one killer of women is men. Well, the number one killer of men is men. I have to be fully aware of the violence of another male. So when they bring up, let's say for an example, trans people getting killed by men. Okay. Well, I'm under the same threat as a man. It don't matter where we go. The club, the bar, you best believe there's a brother out here ready to blow your brains out. So the goal is not to give somebody reasons to blow your brains out. We are all walking around. We have been in the club many a times where you stepped on a Nike or a Jordan and got stolen. This is a part of male culture. So men have to walk around protecting themselves from other men. The only disadvantage that women got is that y'all are women, and everybody will recognize, like, all right, I don't really expect you to be able to handle him. But it don't matter if I'm 5'8" and this dude is 6'4". I still gotta deal with him. Ain't nobody finna come rescue me. So when we have conversations like this, I just feel like a lot of times people just don't understand where they fit in that role. Because if a dude smacks another dude's butt, it's very possible he could get murdered. And that's not even an exaggeration. The guy that got smacked might actually shoot him. And I don't think people understand that in that scenario, that's a real situation that a guy got to contemplate. Whether he, whatever, LGBTQ or not, it don't matter. You smack somebody, you might get killed. And that's the reality. So that's the part that I don't think women understand, is that a woman smacking another woman's butt, they ain't necessarily gonna get met with violence. It could, but with a guy, it's very hot. Then you also gotta think, look at the prison system. How in the world you got a bunch of dudes get locked up and they all end up doing what's doing, raping and this? Because even for some guys, it's not even about LGBTQ, it's about power. Some guys just like to power themselves over other people. And one way to really humiliate a guy is how? Take his manhood. So there's so many dynamics that come with this power. It ain't always just, oh, I slapped somebody on the butt and it's this, or in sports, that stuff could be met with death. And when you talking about women and what women can do, motorboating, going to the bathroom with their home, that stuff is all, ain't nobody even gonna say nothing. But for guys, that just is not how it works. And at the end of the day, hey, if you choose to cross that line, then my response is you better be ready for whatever consequence come with it, because you can't control how a person chooses to respond.
Derek.
And to me, I'll say don't do nothing that's gonna create a response. Because once you do it, ain't no coming back.
Derek, I want to pass this sword to you. Okay.
What's that sword?
It's a term.
Oh, my samurai.
You said some facts. Wow. I'm shocked. I didn't know what you were gonna say, but I'm all right. Yes. All right.
Okay, my thing is I don't know how the hell we went from young Miami to touching butts, but
hey,
that's what we're
see what I
at.
just did? See what I just did there? But anyway, yes. So I mean that's my thoughts on the whole young Miami situation or whatnot. I don't know if y'all got anything further to say on that.
well, now I remember it was the double
Double
standard
standard.
thing, just
I
talking
don't.
about
Right.
how Bill Gates
Do
can,
this. Got
that.
it.
But see, but that was the but I feel like that's what every single conversation like we'll have is always gonna go. If we ever address a woman doing something and a guy doing something, we're gonna end up in the same spot
Oh
every
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You already know that.
Yeah, we're gonna end up in the same spot every time because it's gonna be the same type of you know arguments. We kind of just addressing it in a different way, but I mean, I feel like we always gonna end up kind of in the same spot. Once we get on modern women, men, I don't feel like it's gonna be much different.
Right. Nah, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean that's it with the topics or whatever. That's all we had today. I think we're about at